the propaganda movement, and La Solidaridad. Prior to the arrival of Rizal to Spain, many Filipino students were already studying there, like Pedro Paterno and Gregorio Sanciano, who were both active Filipino nationalists. When Rizal arrived in Spain in 1882, there was an atmosphere of activism led mostly by students. Around this time, Spain's government was in disarray. So their government was disorganized because of the newly adopted 1876 Constitution created a power vacuum. As parties tried to consolidate their power and politicians tried to secure their personal agendas. Shifting from one political bloc to another became common. Corruption was prevalent, so there is a widespread of a corruption in the Spanish government, and cabinet reorganizations followed shortly after every change of party alignment. In addition, many people in Spain were illiterate. So there are many people there who don't know how to write or read because of the lacking of primary and secondary schools. Most importantly, the church was still a formidable force in almost every aspect of Spanish society. This was the situation in Spain that Rizal witnessed when he arrived. He was also welcomed in an atmosphere of liberalism, which exposed him to concept of assimilation wherein the Philippines can be considered as a province of Spain, not just a tributary colony. For Rizal, this meant that Filipinos could be equal with the Spaniards. Shortly after arriving in Barcelona, Rizal started contributing to the short-lived bilingual newspaper, Diaryong Tagalog, together with Marcelo H. Del Pilar. Most of Rizal's contributions were focused on the idea of national regeneration through education. Likewise, Rizal also contributed to other publications led by Graciano Lopez Haina. Haina was the first to lead a series of protests in writing against the injustices of Spaniards in the Philippines in the newspaper Los Dos Mundos. Later on, Rizal found himself writing side by side with Haina's criticisms against the Spanish colonial regime. So Rizal and Haina was partner in writing against the Spanish.
In 1883, Rizal's resistment against the Spaniards intensified when he received letters from his brother Pasiano. The letter informed him about the new Columba parish presence, Father Villafranca, who was detaining her father and demanding for advance rental payment. In 1884, Zina and Rizal delivered the speech of the Exposition de Bellas Artes in Madrid, where two Filipino painters were given recognition. Juan Luna received an award for his Spolarium and Felix Resurrection, Hidalgo for his Virginis Christianis ex Vistas al Populatio. In her speeches, Zina condemned the abuse of the first and the Spanish colonial government in the Philippines, whereas Rizal encouraged the Filipinos youth to follow in the footsteps of Luna and Hidalgo. Rizal's speech received a various interpretation both from Spain and the Philippines. In the Philippines, Rizal's speech was considered serious. Many believe that Rizal could never return to the Philippines again as long as it was colony of Spain.
It was in 1885 that Rizal became more active in contributing the various newspapers. In 1888, Rizal joined an organization composed of Filipino liberals exiled in Spain, the La Solidaridad. The organization aimed to raise awareness of the Spain on the needs of its colony, the Philippines. Delicano Apakibaw, Rizal's cousin, issued a newspaper of the same name. It was published in Barcelona. Diana and later on Del Pilar edited the newspaper while Rizal was an active and significant contributor. It served as a principal organ for reform movement. Most of the articles featured in Solidaridad talk about the possibility of the Philippines becoming a province of Spain, equal rights before the law, the recognition of freedom of speech and assembly. One of Rizal's most important contributions was the letter to the young woman of Malolos published on February 22, 1889. It recognized the efforts and bravery of 20 women from Malolos who wrote a petition letter to Governor General Valeriano Willard to allow them to put up at night school where they could study the Spanish language under the tutelage of Teodoro Sandico. Though the petition was initially denied because of the pressure and influence of the friars, the perseverance of the women of Malolos prevailed.
Jose Rizal visited the parties forecast in the future of the Philippines within 100 years in his book, The Philippines and Generations. It analyzes the various causes of the series suffered by the Filipino people under the Spanish colonizers. In connection to this, Rizal wrote another essay published in La Solidaridad in Madrid in 1890 titled The Indolence of the Filipino. As a response to the accusation of the Spaniards that the Filipinos were indolent, Rizal argued that several factors can be identified for such and most can be rooted in the abuses committed by the Spaniards directly to the Filipinos. Jose Rizal's outstanding talent and passion for writing, as evidenced by the numerous works, greatly antagonized the friars who were the usual targets of the criticism. After China quit writing for the group that assumed leadership, there were stories that Rizal was offered the position of editor but rejected it as he thought it might create a rift between the two propagandists. Soon, Rizal also stopped writing for the newspapers to dedicate his time in addressing the Calambra agrarian dispute that was further fueled by the eviction of the Mercado family from the Dominican lands.